I did a good job.
All right.
Thanks,
Looks like we're crispy. We're all good. Awesome. Welcome back, everyone, to the DJ Life podcast. Today we have Mr. A-Rock and we have Howard in here, our cruise ship DJs.
There it is.
I need a sound effect board.
You have one.
There you are. Eric, as always, joining me here. Obviously, this show is very unstructured. We just sit here. We talk the shit. We talk about everything related to business as much as we can on this podcast. Don't really dive into the gear and everything because that's what all the other videos and everything are for, unless it's relevant to some degree. So, awesome, guys. Welcome.
What's up? How you doing?
Good to be here.
Absolutely. I assume most of our viewers probably don't know you guys necessarily, so was curious.
There's a lot of YouTube kids.
Yeah, a lot of YouTube kids to some degree, but wanted to see if either of you guys wanted to start. Not really sure who wants to start, but talk about kind of the background of where you came from in the DJ industry and how you got into cruise line DJing, because that's just so interesting how that happened. I know a little bit about A-Rocks, but curious to hear whichever one of you guys want to go first to talk about kind of how you got in.
Let's do left to right on the screen so they don't interrupt. So
who's left on your screen?
A-Rock first. And then we'll go to Howard.
I was about to say.
All right, so my name is Aaron Thomas, DJ A-Rock. I'm here in Athens, Ohio right now, right off the campus is OU, but I've been DJing for just over 20 years.
Damn.
Took it to the next level when I came to college. Basically paid my way through college with DJing, and then just kept pushing to be more professional as far as the business and take it, as far as weddings and other things. And then started attending a lot of conferences. And about 6 years ago, I attended the DJ Expo, and Carnival Cruise Line was there doing open interviews, which I didn't know at the time because I walked by their table about 6 times. And I finally looked at my wife. I said, why is Carnival here? Are they giving away cruises or what's going on? So that opened the door up for me to start cruising.
All right. Next. Howard
Wallach. I go by the nickname Top Dog.
Chicago's
have
top
been
dog.
a solopreneur pushing out special events, entertainment, and production since 1987.
True, the Great Depression.
I'm in my 36th year of being a weekend warrior. I do all kinds of special events, and I'm very blessed. I've got a wonderful clientele, a lot of repeat business, like A-Rock, civic, corporate, and social clients. And, for me, getting into the world of cruise ships, it's not a wealth builder. It's not something you do to make a living. It's
Not even.
for me, it's very different pay structure than clubs, pubs, and of course special events. But I did it because it was kind of a bucket list. I always viewed that the guys that did it were much younger with not a lot of obligations, and they could go for long stretches of time. And when I became aware that there were opportunities for short-term contracts, my big ears perked up, and I started throwing myself into the conversation. And I think, like most of us, networking and building authentic relationships led to more serious conversations and more serious opportunities. And because I tend to follow up and I'm honorable with my word, I was able to get in the right place at the right time. It started a few years back with this brand. It's a European brand that came to the States in about 2017. Previous to that, MSC was doing wonderful high-end cruises for passengers in Africa, Asia, Europe. When they came to the States, they had a real identity problem because so much of their efforts were European in nature. And the American clientele that they were trying to appeal to out of Florida was not having it. They were disappointed at the food. So, like, for example, Americans want big big buffets and nonstop eating.
Blame that on Carnival.
So imagine.
That's what
imagine
I like.
going to,
I mean,
imagine
You are
going
American.
To a European trip, and there's a little cube of food on the plate. It just doesn't cut it. In the
Right.
theater, they were doing opera and classical music, and Americans want Blue Man Group and Michael Jackson look-alike. And
the cha-cha slide.
Oh,
so
cha-cha all day.
Bro, I'm a
the
cha-cha
DJs
slider.
The DJs were more likely to not integrate with the audience and sort of DJ at them. And after lots of polls and lots of negative reviews, they started changing their brand. And I was tapped really to Americanize the experience, to give sort of an interactive, maybe higher energy engagement with the audience. And so after great reviews, they started shifting that way. So I was kind of part of a wave that changed that sort of perception of what the entertainment experience was on MSC.
Cool. When did you start with MSC?
Before the pandemic, so winter of 2019.
Gotcha.
And I have a broad past of traveling. I've been very fortunate, whether it's destination weddings or just making my mark. So literally right before this gig, I was DJing in Bali, which is really exciting and kind of sexy when you're a Midwest guy. And I jumped all over it. I had this great experience. I literally came home and then went off onto the ship. It ended because of COVID. There was one fateful day. A-Rock, I don't know your story, but I was on the ship and we were hearing notes of pandemic. Something was happening in Asia. Something was happening in Italy. And when I got on the cruise, they said, "Oh, we're not going at full capacity because something like 800 Italian passengers were stopped at the port. They couldn't even enter the ship because of what was going on." So one fateful day, the captain said, "All staff, please report to the theater." The captain said, "Please watch this video from our CEO." And in his very thick accent, "I'm sorry to report, when we land in Fort Lauderdale, not only are the passengers disembarking, but all employees, 1,400 staff from 90 different countries." It was a logistical
Nightmare.
odyssey, like how they got everybody home. You could hear the gasp in the crowd, right, A-Rock? I mean, people were like,
Yeah. I got off right at the end of January of 2020. So, we kind of knew something was going on in December, January, like everybody else. Everybody had the flu or people was getting sick and so forth. And it was a logistic nightmare. I got home, but I had friends that's on the ship, and what Carnival did, hats off to Carnival, because when they start flying people home, people were getting stuck and they're connecting flights. So people was going over to Germany, that was trying to get to Eastern European, they were stuck. They couldn't go backwards. So Carnival stopped flying people.
Wouldn't let them return home.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. So Carnival wound up meeting, they wound up meeting in the Bahamas, towards middle of the summer. All the ships met, and they basically was moving crew members from each ship on lifeboats, and they had a different ship going to a different part of the world. So they had the Caribbean crew members on one boat, they had the Eastern Europeans on another boat, they had the Indians going one location, the Filipinos going this location, and the Americans, they were just trying to get off through customs. They were just trying to get the Americans off.
It is consistent with the sheer amount of logistics that these international companies are pulling off. I mean, I'm sure you've seen, on Netflix, like a behind the scenes of the operation of a cruise ship. It's actually kind of beautiful. Here we are as mobile entertainers, and we're in our own heads about how we run our company. To watch this amazing choreography of what happens with all the different departments, the safety, the communication, just it's very impressive to watch these brands do what they do best. And I felt like a fly on a wall. I really was like watching the way they handle food service and, and the people that clean the rooms and the ship and constantly wiping down. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I thought Disney was like the ultimate in hospitality, right? 5-star, right? But these ships are expressing the best possible service at a 6-star level.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just got back. So I went back to the ships end of October. So I never leave Athens before homecoming. Rick, no, I'm always working homecoming here at OU.
Bro, I've only ever been to one fucking homecoming.
Because he always passed out.
No, literally, I was never there. I was always DJing somewhere.
Yeah.
Is that how you guys know each other?
Yeah,
Originally?
he's based in Athens.
Is that where you're from?
That's where I went to college.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So being a
probably,
DJ that was actually pretty good, I got on his radar pretty quick.
I'm geographically challenged, therefore
the pointy part of Ohio.
I know where I've been in Ohio, and I don't know shit else. I actually don't even know shit about where I've been. It's just like
you went to Columbus. You drove up to Columbus before, right?
Yeah.
You probably drove through Athens.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like cow fields and stuff.
Like normally you go up 77, then you get off on, was it 330 or something?
Yeah, you sound like my dad.
You see 33 and come straight up.
Anyway, talking about your logistics though, I'll try and find it and put it in a comment, but there's a guy on YouTube that made a really, really good documentary on how the cruise ships, Carnival in specific, how they got all their team members and how they function throughout the whole entire shutdown because they didn't have any ports to go to.
Yeah.
It was
a lot.
It's very fascinating how all that worked because you like described it to me and then I stumbled across it. I can't remember who it is. It's a really popular guy on YouTube that makes a lot of documentaries.
Some of the ships have their own island.
Yeah.
And they use that because they had to resupply and refuel.
Yeah. I think a lot of ships wound up out in the Philippines towards the end of the pandemic because that was one of the few ports that was letting people fly in and out, still getting people on and off. When I went back, I flew out to LA. So I joined the Radiance in October. So this was a ship that was supposed to be ready last year, but got put off due to the pandemic. So it was the longest overhaul of a ship. I think it was like 500 something days. Usually when they take a ship in and they go retrofit it, kind of dry dock as they call it, usually it's in there for maybe 60 to 90 days. This was like 583 days.
Jesus.
So they basically, I don't know if you ever been on a ship, but they, most of them 14 stories tall, 1,500 to 2,000 feet long. And they basically cut the rear of the ship out and added a whole nother section of rooms.
They don't spare expense.
They do not spare expense.
They might now.
This overhaul.
No, actually logistics. They're in that documentary. They talk about how much cash flow they have, like in assets and like sitting around.
Oh yeah.
And even through the pandemic, they had ridiculous amounts of money still just left over. They talked about how long they could survive, and it was ridiculous.
Yeah. It's it's one of those things, man. It's a huge company. That's what people don't realize is like my dream was always a DJ in Vegas, but then I start working on a cruise ship. I'm like, this is like Vegas every 7 days because you got 4,000 to 5,000 people on board every 7 days. Now, if you want the ones doing short runs, the one I was doing, we had 3,300 to 4,000 guests every 3 to 4 days, and that was a turnover every 3 or 4 days. You got a new group of people come to the club. Not saying you're getting that many though, but still.
I just got off of Celebrity, which is part of the Royal Caribbean family.
Yeah,
and it is a surreal amount of staff and the amount of ships and all the things that they're doing. All of the ships consistently, they're not into hiring individuals, right? They have agencies for almost every department. So they want to hire contracts. And this is probably no surprise, but they're not interested in short-term anything. They want people that they can train and have consistency over 3, 4, 6, 9 months. And they put carrots in front of you to go even longer. They incentivize people to be on these ships for long periods of time. There are exceptions to all of this. Like when I was a Celebrity, I'm a visiting artist, so I'm on the passenger side as a guest, and that's its own discussion. But getting in with these agencies, you have you heard of Rob Nadigal, guys?
I haven't.
Oh yeah.
So he's a guy that is really a power player in placing talent with the scenarios that are looking for it. So it's the most simplest thing, right? Have a resume, have video, raw video of you performing, right? Have an active passport, be vaccinated. So if you take out all the politics and you understand that an adult company is hiring an adult position, set yourself up for success and don't wait to the last minute. If anybody was interested in resort work or cruise work, these are the minimums.
Yeah.
It's not about, well, I don't want to be vaccinated and I let my passport go, or I don't have a video and why would I need a resume? If that's the general attitude, this isn't for you, right? This is for people that want to be in this sort of hospitality space. And I think A-Rock would agree, the DJ part of what we do, it's exciting, but you're also a brand ambassador.
Yeah.
The entire time we're living with these passengers. And it's all about the customer experience. And I think that some DJs, sadly, they live in their whole head and think it's about the music or it's about the gear. It just isn't on a cruise ship.
It's
because I come on as an employee, so I am part of the crew, so I have crew responsibility. So you run into a few different things when you're on board versus as a fly on, as they call the comedians. But the the crew life is a little bit different than a fly on because I have duties outside of my DJing. So a lot of people are like, well, I heard you guys are doing multiple things on board. Yeah, because you're part of the team. It's 1,300 people on board now. I used to have to do embarkation and life vest training. So I run embarkation and then I'll go when we get ready to sail away, go show the guests how to don a life jacket. And then you had a couple of there few other things you had to do throughout your your day of work besides DJ. But that's just part of the team effort.
Like
what? A lot of people are like, well, I'm not doing that. Well, so with the pandemic, it was a different situation than pre-pandemic. So.
But what about pre-pandemic? Other than like washing your hands and doing shit like that, whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
what was the day?
So my day, I got a few videos on my channel. So people always randomly hit me up because people hit me up when I first started doing it. It was like, hey, how do I get a job? What is life to be on there? Steady text people. I did a whole contract. I just shot like my day on the ship pre-pandemic. I did another group of videos post-pandemic, but we got emails telling us to kind of keep our social media stuff to a limit. So my last contract, I barely post anything. But, so my day is a full day for embarkation. So when I say embarkation, that's the day a new group of guests get on. So you got embark, got debark. So embarkation is the first day of the cruise. You got guests coming on. Now, you're one of the first voices they hear as they getting on the ship. I'm usually playing music in the atrium. So I'm watching all 3,000 guests get on throughout the morning. So I may start from 11 to 3 o'clock. And I'm playing music from 11 to 3 o'clock, giving that Caribbean vibe, that vacation vibe,
100%
using no line dances. What's that?
100% agree. You're stacked.
Talk about the ultimate crowd reading.
Well,
It's vibe. It's vibe. It's not.
It's a
It's not
vibe.
interactive.
I know, but like
And
you're
it's up to
seeing
you to set
every
it,
single
too.
guest come on there, so you like are getting a read from like what your demographic is coming into that cruise, which is super
Well,
cool.
well, actually, so what Carnival does, we get an email to let us know the guests that's coming on like
Oh
weeks
shit, really?
before. So we kind of know, like, all right, we got 4,000 people coming aboard. 1,500 is coming from North Carolina. 300 is coming from Ohio. 200 from Texas. 100 from Canada. We know, and then we know the age, and we know the gender. We know, all right, we got 55% of the
damn.
people is female under the age of 40. So you kind of know what to expect. And it varies. Like, I always work the holiday cruises because most people don't want to work Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, which I don't mind. So I'm always working the holidays. But we kind of know. But it's up to you. I always tell people, if you're a DJ to hate requests, do not work on a cruise ship.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have no idea.
I want
but
to
that
add
was funny.
something. Aaron, I too was an employee when I was on the MSC ship, and it's true. Different responsibilities. You live behind the scenes. You have a roommate. You're eating in the mess hall. You wear a badge.
Yep.
You're responsible for crew drills,
Yep.
team meetings. On the other side, when you're a guest performer, you're on the passenger side. So I just had a wonderful experience where I did not have a roommate. I did not have a badge. I was not using the rear elevators. I did not eat in the mess hall. Whole
They had to be
different
hidden.
whole
Right.
different vibe. But you always know in advance. It's not like, oh, you're a DJ, they're going to go make you work and be a babysitter. That's not what Aaron's talking about. It's that you have responsibilities to the ship.
Yes.
Many brands want you to, before you arrive, get certification in Red Cross, in fire and water safety. So before I got on the ship initially in 2019, I spent a week in Fort Lauderdale, and I was immersed in a 8-hour day, 5-day course. My entry to the ship wasn't just my passport; it was the slew of paperwork to say I'm
Certified.
I'm
Seafarer.
verified.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. And what we got on
Makes
Carnival is that we have it all. It is now via a tablet, so we can take it in our cabins, and we get different certifications. Like, when I got on board last time, they had changed the social media policy because, once again, I get people like, well, I don't know why we can't post this. Well, you're working for a billion-dollar company that sees 100,000 people every week. Your actions on social media reflect them.
Right.
So you can't just be posting all the most random stuff on your page because it reflects them. So, and that was one of the things that came up, was that we had to watch what we post during the pandemic, because we were running, like 60% capacity for a while, so you didn't want a big show and the big large gatherings, because the perception is all these people don't care. What they don't know is that we're doing everything and then some that make sure everybody's safe. We all had to be vaccinated. They started doing boosters. We had to wear our masks, indoor, outdoor. We had to keep social distance. It got to the point that we wasn't taking requests from guests because they was trying to keep us distance from the guests.
And you're
on the
like,
ship.
this
Sounds
is
like the
dope.
best thing ever.
Yeah.
In the middle of this last tour that I did, one point is initially got on and that we were told, no, you cannot get off the ship at the ports.
Yep.
Sadly, that's where the cellular service is.
Yep. That happened to us.
But number two, I wanted to say, speaking to what he said earlier about knowing the demographic, it just so happens that you learn this, but the longer the cruise is, the older the demographic is.
The journey cruises.
Like the journey cruises, the 10-day, the 11-day, and then there's another phenomena called back-to-back.
Oh man.
So you if you're on, like I was on Celebrity, and I'm not kidding, there was very, very few people under 48 years old.
Yeah.
It skewed to a much older demographic. So the sweet spot musically was ABBA and the Rolling Stones. And if you ask me what the number one song was in February on the ship, it was Cold Heart by Dua Lipa and Elton John.
Yeah.
You would never think that
You
on
would fail.
land. But on the ship, it's a different energy.
Well, I tell you, the one thing, and I hear these guys all the time, and I respect every DJ out there. Everybody's the best DJ, right? And I tell people, I say, you really want to test your DJ skills? Go work on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
They said, well, you guys just play line dances all day. Like, dude, it's only like 12 line dances. I got 4 to 5 hours to fill, in the afternoon, and 4 hours to fill in the nightclub. So I'm just not playing cha-cha and Cupid and wobble every, 10 songs, I learned when I started, they sent me, I trained in Miami, and then I went to Texas. And then it was a complete different crowd especially with Latin music. And I learned the hard way, Pitbull don't fly in the Texas crowd. Like it's cool. But when I got to Texas, it was Selena, and cumbia and banda, it was a different style of Latin music. And then when I went to the West Coast, cumbia all day, and you got some reggaeton mixture. But, it's like the ultimate boot camp. I tell people it's the DJ boot camp, because you may have a group on there from, this part of the country one week, and then you got a completely different setup. People like, man, how you know this music? Like, I got no choice but to learn the music, because this is what this group of people is coming on board with.
I will say that the average wedding DJ would do really well on a cruise ship. We all call ourselves open format.
Yeah.
But to Erik's point, it's the next level.
Open.
Your crates have crates.
Yeah. Like I said, my biggest struggle when I got on board was the Caribbean and the Latin music. Like I knew the basic, top 50, but when you start getting deep down into it, to the regional Latin and the regional Caribbean, then you get the breakdown of different Caribbean, the soca music. And, my one guy was like power soca versus regular like, it ain't just Bob Marley. Like Bob Marley is afternoon stuff. But when you start getting to like Red Rat and some of the other power soca stuff, it's a whole nother level when it comes to Caribbean music.
But you learn as you go. This isn't meant to intimidate anybody. It's just saying that you are expected to perform at your highest level. Do you guys remember on Facebook in the last couple of weeks there was some back and forth about, can you believe the bride wanted me to start 40 minutes early, and how dare her?
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And I'm like, I was radio silent, because I don't run in that circle. I'm a pleaser. So my personality is aligned with resorts and cruise ships, because I see the big picture. I think when a DJ goes to a ship, you change your name to entertainer, activity host, interactor, and I'll say it again, brand ambassador. It's a much bigger picture than us being these solopreneurs and getting in and out at a special event. It's an attitude. It's a different mindset.
I mean, even for Carnival, you can't walk around without your name tag on.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't leave your cabin without your name tag. You got to have your name tag on.
So, I mean, you guys said yourself, like if you're trying to get like super paid, the cruise DJing is not
what this is.
method.
No.
And I'm not gonna lie, you guys are making it sound like it's really fucking hard to do. Like,
no,
not like hard,
look,
but it sounds not super cozy like most DJ gigs. You know what I'm saying?
So you got to look this way, right? When you get into resorts, say, just prime example, Las Vegas, right? You got a residence in Las Vegas, so you're going to get X amount of dollars every week, every month, okay? But your job is to make sure those guests attending that resort get the ultimate guest experience. It's not what you want to hear as the resident DJ versus the tour DJ, right? You're not Tiesto coming in, you headline, and you come in, do your hour set. But you the resident guy. You the guy that's there 7 days a week, entertaining the guest that's on vacation. In the same way with the cruise ships, you're there for the guests. The guests are coming to get away. They got that 1 to 2 weeks off for an entire year, and so you have to start thinking about, you got to think about them versus yourself. That's what I tell people. I say,
that's any DJ gig, unless you're Tiesto. Ignoring that, because that's not. None of those people are listening to this right now. I tell you that.
What is? Put it this way: what is rewarding for you guys to do it, since it's not really a big money thing? What makes you want to do that versus other?
You want to go first, or do you want me
versus like weddings
versus like
whatever else
being a
do?
mobile op DJ?
I go. I'll be honest. I tell people all the time. I tell my friends on the ship, I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the resume builder. It's a resume builder.
Oh yeah, definitely.
When I get people to come to me and say, all right, we don't want to pay your price. Now Rick know how difficult it is to charge some of the prices that I even charge
in Athens,
in
Ohio,
our area.
Very hard.
You're right. So when people say, well, why are you charging this much? Or can you do a wedding with 300 to 400 people? Right. And I say, yeah, no problem. And they say, and they look at me and I say, well, that means they haven't been on my website or haven't creeped on my Instagram page, but they will see me on those pages in front of 3,000 people every day on a cruise ship. And I say, if this company trusts me to run their Lido deck and their nightclub for 100 days at a time, I think I can run your wedding for 4 hours. So for me as a resume builder,
you ain't lying.
Resume and a networker too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you never know who's on there. You don't know who's getting on that boat every 3 to 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know who's on there. You don't know what club promoters on there. I meet so many different people, and I try to exchange cards and everything else. But man, you never know.
I feel like just once you get handed that gig in the first place, you've already networked so hard. You've like made because I don't even know how you would even begin, other than your stories to begin with, of how you became, like on the cruise ship in the first place.
Rick, you would agree that all these different kinds of DJs. There's like the house heads, there's the gear heads, right? This has to have the latest everything. And then there's like pure musicologists,
Yep.
harmonic mixing. There are the DJs that produce tracks.
Mm-hmm.
There are other personalities that do this because they enjoy the experience of doing a wedding. I remember the first wedding I ever did as a young man. I loved that every two minutes it was an if-then equation. It was very cerebral for me. Navigating through all the choices.
Yeah. If I play this? What if I play that?
I got the host, I got the guest, and this constant, it just fed me it was an adrenaline that I had not known previous to DJing, right? At some point, you've done the class reunion, you've done the block party, you've done the gala, right? The church fundraiser. You've done
the car show. You got to do the car show,
right? The amateur boxing. It just goes on and on and on. But to A-Rock's point, to be trusted by an international company who has a lot at stake, and also it's not being said, but the reviews are daily. The reviews are weekly. The reviews are in the middle of the voyage, at the end of the voyage, and you get instant feedback. You were too loud. They want to hear more island music. And you're either down with the program or you're not.
Yeah.
For me, who's done so much and internationally, I loved the experience of rolling my sleeves up and seeing if I could be a difference maker. Could I, who have not been a passenger on this ship, read this audience and be really well received? And I hit it out of the park. I got tremendous reviews because I nurtured it.
Yeah.
Right. I wasn't absent-minded going through it. I was very intentional. I would never say, "Oh, I just played that. I'm sorry. I can't play that again." That's just it's not the MO. Mm-hmm. It's not the experience of what this is. Now, I'm not saying it's difficult. It might be challenging for some personalities who don't like that. Mm-hmm. Right. I don't mind. I'm used to at events people tapping me literally while I'm talking on a microphone.
Yeah.
Right. But if
can you give a birthday shout out?
If you're not used to that, it would be nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's one of those things like you have to be an extrovert, and I like it because it makes me hone in on my MC skills. I go out, I'm a single out, so it's just me DJing, MCing, doing all, So when I go out and I do events, I'm doing everything. Mm-hmm. Set up, tear down, DJing, MCing the event, running everything for the start to the finish. But on this ship, I'm gonna go back to the wedding part. So when I was on the ship in Texas, the 7-day, we will have 3 to 4 weddings on board a day on embarkation day. So on our home port day, we have people literally get on to get married. Now the couple and a few of their friends and family may stay, but the guests will come on board. They will come for a wedding ceremony and reception, and then they will leave before we set sail. Now, my job was to be the face and the voice when people walked in, first time on the ship, but I had to program other computers basically running a multi-op on the ship. So I had to make sure all the rest of the entertainment staff that was running the weddings had all the music ready to go and queued up for these brides and grooms.
Damn.
Yeah,
It's not fun. I don't want to paint a picture.
Yeah, it's great, man.
It is great. It is great.
You guys
But
keep going back
I've
to
been doing
that,
it for-
and
I've
then
been
you
doing it
like
for
give me
6 years. I've
details,
been
and I'm
doing it
like,
for 6
fuck
years.
that at the same time.
So
Like,
on, so A-Rock, you mentioned a little bit, but can you give out your own cards? Like, can you kind of do your own little networking, or you have to use a carnival card? Like, what's the MO there?
So
They're
it's hit or miss.
listening.
Like,
They're listening.
You know, they frown upon me wearing my brands. You know, all my stuff got my name on it.
Even though you wear it all the freaking time.
just get it
That's
tattooed
right.
on
That's
your
right.
face.
You know
and be
what I'm
like, this
saying?
is just
Invest
me.
in yourself. Always remember that. Invest in yourself. But, you know, when I'm on the ship, I got, you know, I have a uniform. So I have a carnival uniform. I have a carnival shirt that I have to wear when I'm DJing on the Lido deck. Now I have a different. So I would change 3 to 4 times a day on the ship. I got my, I'm going to walk around the crew area clothes. I got to work out on the open deck clothes. I got in the middle of the afternoon, the evening sets in the atrium, and then I got my nightclub attire.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm changing 3 or 4 times, you know, throughout the evening. But they don't frown upon you passing out your own cards, but you know, you can't be out there like just pumping your stuff up all day long, you know, because
believe me,
you're
like
working for
events,
somebody.
like events, if they like you, they will let it be known.
Yeah.
They, you know, I everybody was calling me top dog when it was on day 10 and people were disembarking. I had countless passengers coming up to me. What's your real name? Can I find you? Can I follow you on social?
I was about to say Instagrams.
I want to hire you. Can you travel? I'm like, yeah, no problem. If you're, it's just like special events, right? You don't have to be loud. Yeah, put your name on your laptop skin. You know, I've got wristbands that say my name. But at the end of the day, you don't have to be a screamer or blunt, because if you're good,
yeah, people will find you. Like,
find
you know, we don't supposed to have our name on our laptop skins, right? So, I mean, once again, this is
celebrity's
corporate,
different.
right? This is corporate America, you know. So we're coming in. We are branded with Carnival. You know, our daytime clothes is Carnival. Our name tag's Carnival. You know, it's one of those things, you know. But once again, you know, even I have to dial it back sometimes because everything has my name on it. You know, I think I maybe got, you know, 3 shirts that don't have my name embroidered on it.
He is not kidding. Literally, his whole wardrobe down to his underwear is all A-Rock Entertainment.
Hey man, hey look, I learned. I'll tell you one thing I learned a long time ago, and I cut it short. You know, but I took a class at OU back in '97. Okay, my teacher came up. He said, if Nike paid you all to walk around this campus with your shirt on, would y'all take the money and walk around with Nike shirts? And everybody said, yeah. He said, what if they just stopped paying you in the middle of the quarter? Would you keep wearing a brand? And everybody's like, no. He was like, and he went around the room and pointed out everybody's clothes.
Wear Nike.
that day, I walked up to the t-shirt shop. I was like, can you design my own brand? From 97 on, I've been wearing something with my name on it. You know, because he made a good point. And that's what I think about with Carnival. It's a brand. It's brand recognition. People see that funnel. They know that is a Carnival ship. They know it. How do you see it?
I had a different deal as a visiting artist. And Erik, you know me. I'm kind of dapper. Period. I don't dress in sandals and shorts. Everywhere I was on the ship, I was my version of GQ. I was trying to be one better than the guests, and I you know, people thought I was management. People, you know, they didn't know if I'd been on the ship 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years. It was how I carried myself.
Yep.
You know, which brings up an interesting point, because when you're packing for a ship, you have to really think through, you know, how often you're going to be willing to do laundry. Some scenarios you pay for, and some you don't. Dry cleaning is different than launder. So there's lots of nuance when you do this. But I mean, who are we kidding? I ate like a king on the ship.
I lose more weight when I'm on the ship. Believe it or not, I lose more weight when I go on the ship because
it's the Adderall.
I'm stepping 20,000 steps a day, you know, because I don't drive. So everything is walk. When you get off the porch, you walk. When you're on the ship, you know, I try to avoid using elevators, you know, and you still have a lot of food on board, but it's still like, you just walk in every single place, carrying gear.
It is active. It is cerebral.
You dancing.
I would leave my room at like 10:40 in the morning, knowing I'm probably not going to get back there till after 8 p.m. for a 15-minute break before I worked till 1 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I had these very unusual, like every day was tactical. It was, all right, I've got an hour. Do I return emails? Do I coffee up? Do I nap?
Right. You got to pick that.
Should I walk the ship? Let's talk about the internet for a second.
Oh,
we're all so programmed to look at our phone and regularly check. You would be a very sad human if you relied on ship internet. So you have to sort of reach. There's no streaming. There's no downloading. You come on that ship prepared. You bring your own entertainment, right? There's no YouTube. There's no Spotify. Eric, if you put a video on Facebook, all I would see on my phone is a gray screen.
Right.
Yeah. I'm the least interactive on any social accounts when I'm on the ship. I have content on top of, like, I'm gonna post this, I'm gonna post it, and then you go post it, and then the wheel is just spinning and it's spinning and it's spinning.
Lose my fucking mind.
But I'm gonna tell you,
it's different. It's different.
Listen.
Exercise in being present.
Yeah. Right. I know you guys think like, man, I would not want to work on a cruise ship, but I'm gonna give you the upside of it, right? The upside is it's probably one of the most rewarding gigs I ever done, because you are affecting a lot of people's lives, because people come on vacation to get away. They got that 1 week. I learned when I first started working with Carnival, we had to take these classes, and they say, do anybody know how many weeks the average American get? Now I say American because most of the people on the ship are American or Canadians, right? That's coming on board of one of the ships. Now, most of the crew members is 1,300 crew members. Maybe 20 of the 1,300 are Americans.
Facts.
So when you get on board, you have a lot of people that's looking for that unwinding. Carnival is known for they're known as the fun ship. I mean, when people come on, I got the music turned up, I got the soca music pounding. As soon as they get on the ship, first guest impressions, bam. I can't be up there sad, I can't be up there crying, I can't be up there falling asleep, I can't be up there checking emails. I got to be on my A game, because I'm the first thing people are seeing when they come on board. Mm-hmm. Now we get ready, we get our sail away party. Here it is, the next guest experience. Bam, the big sail away party. As we're leaving out of Miami or Texas or California, we are the loudest ship coming out of port. Boom, boom, boom. We pass some Disney ships, and it's just boom, 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 boom. People like, man, this ship is partying. And then from there, you got 5 days or 7 days or 3 days to make these people 1 week of vacation memorable. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and it's like I said, it's one of these things. And for me, that's rewarding, because I enjoy the challenge, but I enjoy, like, man, I'm making an impact, because people come up to you at the end of the cruise like, man, thank you very much. I had people that I would not play their song till they came into the club, because I knew this was the one song they want to hear every night. Mm-hmm. Can you play the song? Like, yeah, I play it. Mm-hmm. So I wait till they come in.
Mm-hmm. It is rewarding. It's just, you got to sort of think about what makes you happy. It's not always the dollar, right? Remember when you were a young mobile DJ, you would do events that you thought would lead you into something bigger. You might discount, you might do you're the sponsor of an event because it's the right place to be. It's where you need to be to get to the next place. Mm-hmm. It's not unlike that. I told my girlfriend that however long a ship is, 4,000 feet, I said, for 4,000 feet, I was quite literally a big fish in a little sea. Everybody knew me. My name, my face is on the TVs in their room. I'm on the newspaper. Top Dog is at the Sky Lounge. Come see Top Dog at the Martini Bar.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, it's like being the mayor. Everybody wants to take pictures. One of the favorite things I did when on disembarkation day was people, again, what's your real name? Can I take a selfie with you? How do I follow you on social media? My last ship, this was cute. An older man in his 70s came up to me, and he had made a watercolor of me. I posted this on my Facebook. He said, I've been watching you for all 10 days. I haven't introduced myself. I'm just fascinated by you. I said, why? He says, I've been sailing for 30 years. I'm at the highest level of celebrity. I see all these people all the time. I've never seen anybody enjoy their job more than you. He says, I bet you're this way when you're not on a microphone. I said, I am. I said, it's so funny. If you knew my my siblings or my dad, we're all kind of wired this way, a little bit extra. He says, I can tell. It's legit. He says, you are who you are. I said, you're exactly right. And then he handed me this watercolor. He said, I painted you in action. I was like, oh my God. I was like, almost fell down. Like, what a gesture. You know, it was very moving. I mean, it really hit me in a real way. I was like, you know, who does that? You know, it wasn't financial. It wasn't a pat on the back. He took the time. He was like studying me. Like, you know, I was like, holy smokes, man.
And people will you know, catch up with you after the ship, want to know when you travel or when the next time you're gonna be on the ship or how long you're gonna be on the ship. Now with all the vlogging, you get vloggers that come on, they want to talk to you, say, hey, you know,
Yes.
want to talk about, you know, but once again, like, you know, what we run into at Carnival is not an issue. It's the fact that, you know, we have policies in place, you know, social media policies, you know, and other companies may vary, but they want to protect that brand, you know, so we got to be careful on what we say, who we talk to, you know, taking pictures and everything else. I mean, we can take pictures, but we got to watch what we say to people. Oh, what about this? You know,
Yeah,
I can't tell you
comment.
what life is, you know, in the crew area.
So
Yeah, and I took a lot of content while I was on the ship, you know, whether it was me setting up, you know, in selfie mode or me putting my phone on a tripod. But I did take advantage of some of the moments, and there were massive crowds. It was very adrenaline filled. And if you're that kind of, I don't know, kudos junkie, it's a great experience because you get immediate response. Your team says wonderful things. The passengers make remarks. I was interviewed while I was on I mean, you feel like, you know, a big deal. And who doesn't want to feel like that?
Cool. That's why I became a DJ to begin with. Legit. Not even joking. You know.
wanted to be a celeb.
No, well, it's just I like getting patted on the fucking back.
You want to be a celebrity.
Whether you admit it or not, if you're a DJ,
it's
you
serious.
like it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You like the high five and you're playing the cha-cha slide. It doesn't even fucking matter. If people are dancing and you're causing them to dance, it gives you that feeling. It's like a drug.
It's a wannabe occupation in a way. Most people would imagine it's a.
Those aren't the words I would have used, but
it's a
like
fun role. Like you get to entertain and make people's day for a living. Like
right. I just like, you
And
know.
it's not like just weekends. A-Rock said we are doing 4, 6, 9 shifts. Some are only 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Some are 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know, we're intermingling with other activity hosts.
You
and
see,
doing
they talk it
games
all up, and then they go
activity.
back on it and say they do all these shifts.
Oh, you guys haven't sold me at all.
but
I would
mean,
never
but
do
you
the
know,
cruise.
it's a job, right? At the end of the day,
There are worse jobs.
I was at a high
It's
point. I was like, this
but
is
if the argument is there are worse jobs, it's like that's not the.
I mean,
I hear you.
there
I
are
hear
worse
you.
jobs.
Or, I'm just fucking with you, but you
look,
know.
Howard, I got it.
You're just
I
being
tell you this.
compensated for like events. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're being a flat paid for the experience. You know, you don't have expenses on the ship.
Right.
Which
That's
is
what I was about
nice.
to say. That's what I was about to add. When I tell people this, right? If you're looking for a change in your life, if you're looking for that ultimate experience, go work on a cruise ship because you have no cost of living, right? You're now depends on if you go on as a crew or a guest. You may have a roommate, you may not. You know, your food is basically free. Depends on what your privileges are with each company. You may be eating in the crew mess, you may be eating in the guest area, or you can do both. You got free vacation, basically. You at all the ports. You know, before the pandemic, we can get off at every single port. We usually have the mornings off and be back on board, you know, for sail-away parties. You know, you meet a lot of new friends. You know, one my big takeaway from this is all the people that I have met over the past 6 years. And I tell folks, people like, what's the best thing about the ship? I say when the pandemic started, I knew what was going on before it got to the US because I was talking to all my friends in Europe and England, and they were 2 to 3 weeks ahead of everything. They're like, yeah, you know, we got curfews. Like, what? That never happened. Oh, we got lockdown. What? That never happened. Oh, wait, the grocery stores are closing early. What? Yeah. So I'm talking to these people on Facebook, you know, staying in touch during the pandemic, but these are people like, yeah, how you know this? Like, oh, you know, my friend's from Romania, or I got a friend in Italy, I got a friend in UK, or
in broad strokes, you either get it or you don't. The
Yeah.
rewards are far more than financial.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you look at it as compensation for my savvy, my experience, my music investment, then don't do it.
I mean,
Yeah.
Don't do
it's
this.
cool.
Big
you
shout
know?
to Alex. Big shout to Alex Dana. So Alex was my boss with Carnival, and now he's doing his own thing now. So if
I
you're
was
looking
wondering
at
about that.
been on the ship, hit so Rick, you met Alex in Vegas when he was out in Vegas.
Yeah. We
So
stay connected a little bit.
yeah, so if you trying to connect, Alex is in the chat. But I will talk real
leave the
quick
chat.
about the gear, but not too Gary. But not too Gary. Okay, I said we're not talking. So on the ship, so with Carnival, I'll tell you what's provided when I come on board: 2 laptops, hopefully, right? Maybe 3. We had SR1s, then we went to SR2s. They are already on board. So we got 2 to 3 SR2s on board right now. 2 DDJ 1000 SRTs for the ships that don't have clubs. The ships that have clubs, we have S9s and CDJ 900s inside the nightclubs.
So they got decent gear. Like it's
the gear's there. Now, when it comes to the open deck, there is a line array on top of your head. So on the Carnival ship, when I'm on deck 10 DJing, I got 4 18s on top of my head with a line array of speakers, and all we got to do is plug in and go. So same with the nightclub. So Howard said we're moving to different areas on the ship. The only thing we really need to take is our controller and a laptop. Now, with Carnival versus with some of the other cruise lines, the music is provided for us. So we got a laptop with libraries loaded on it. And we just got to go through and find the music to make it work. And our laptop is usually, we get music every week, every 2 weeks. Not all new songs are the best songs. Because people come on board. Most people don't really want to hear the new. They want to hear those hits.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not like, can you play Super Gremlin
right there? Yeah.
Yeah. People still want to hear the 2000, 2010, and they want some dance music, unless it's spring break.
I should interject here and say we have had different experiences, right? Between Celebrity and MSC. I don't know how I was introduced. I don't know what the overall sense is. I was given complete autonomous and creative freedom. My programming was unique to me, and I got enormous kudos for that. I loved that I wasn't constrained or put into a box, and as a result, I was really able to feed into the passengers. A-Rock, some of those people that want to stay out till 1:30 in the morning on the ship, you think it's all about the bangers and the absolutes. Well, guess what? Guess what? Every now and then someone comes in and goes, I want to hear Meatloaf. I want to hear Pink Floyd.
Yep.
We do it.
Yep.
We do it.
Same way. Because, once again, you don't know what your guest count is. You do know, before, the age group coming on. So you can kind of prepare yourself. Like I did a Journeys cruise, the average age was, 40, 48 and up, with 2,000 people on board. So, I was playing 70s, 80s. I was doing swing parties. It was a person on there teaching dance classes, like 2 steps and the sock hop type stuff. So I was doing stuff for that. But, the cruise before, I was playing nothing but trap music and reggaeton. So, it varies every week. Like, oh, what are we going to play this week? But, we have a really good library and a good setup. I don't complain about the music because I can dig through the library and find it. And people come on expecting the brand new songs. You got this song just came out 2 days ago? Nah, man. Sorry. And you can't download it. It ain't like you're going to be in the middle of the ocean. Like, I'm about to hit this download real quick.
Don't discount that transfer of energy is mutual back and forth, right? When they're vibing, if you're playing something cheesy, like people in the chat were saying, hot, hot, hot. Believe me, when they're wilding out, you can't help but be in it, right? You're present and you're vibing with the guests. I don't have any problem jumping out there and laughing with them and dancing with them. It really is fun. And then they feel that right back. Mm-hmm. It's a back and forth. It's not like every experience. The cruise life, it feeds me. I mean, I leave there feeling very satiated that I was a difference maker. I liked your word. I was impactful. Yeah. I mean, you feel it. It's legit.
And then, another thing with Carnival is that we got cruise directors on board. So, the cruise director is the star of the show. I'm the co-star with the cruise director. I gotta be that person. It's like a talk show. You got the band that's waiting for the talk show host to drop that certain thing so you can put that cue in there. And a lot of times, you are that band with that host of the day. The cruise directors, it's the face and the voice of the entire ship. They're making all announcements besides guest services interrupting you. But people know the cruise director, and you're next to them all the time, from the deck parties to the atrium events. You're right next to the cruise director, and you got to make sure you both are on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Hospitality with an exclamation point.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So your other stuff that you guys have, not the cruise stuff. Tell me a little about that. I want to hear a little from both of you about that, but also like how far out you get your cruise schedule so that you can schedule both.
And then
Wanna
also
go
like
first, Erik, or-
what's the split here too? Like, are you like 2/3 of the year doing cruise ship, third of the year doing events?
Just tell us all those
Yeah.
stats.
Maybe
Curious
I
about
could
that.
address this. So if you want a contract where that it's potentially more lucrative, again, you're incentivized to go 3, 4, 6, 9 months, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You have to plan accordingly. You can't have a land-based mobile job with commitments if you're a solo op.
Uh-huh.
I am a multi-op, but I'm also not doing long-term contracts. I'm a visiting artist. I'm a guest, right? So I get the very difference is I get opportunities sometimes inside 72 hours. My exit from my company is so intense. I have to communicate with my pipeline. I have to communicate with my staff, and I have to communicate with my vendors. My exit is unbelievably tumultuous. It's not for everybody.
That was a really
But I'm
good
only
word.
going to be gone for a couple of weeks at a time. And I am answering emails. Like you guys, I have my CRM in the cloud. I can do an awful lot of communication, and I pre-word a lot of my texts and emails so they understand I can't give you my full attention right now. I can soon. I want to honor you by letting you know I can't answer that right now in full. But if you're patient, thank you for understanding. I'll connect with you again soon. Most of my year is being a multi-op. At my company, I have, because I do interactive dancers and bar mitzvahs and corporate, I have anywhere between 22 and 30 people active on the roster. Sometimes they are front of house, like dancers, MCs, and DJs. And sometimes they're back of house, my techs, my roadies, my drivers. And then we've got guys that maintain the gear. It's quite an operation, but I'm a well-oiled machine. I've been very intentional about managing my business on all levels, from the marketing side to just having punch lists and checklists and really being pretty thoughtful about how we do this. So when I go away, I feel very confident. I have 2 part-time admins. We used to have an office. We don't anymore. Pandemic ruined that. I'm part of a warehouse share. I've got there's 3 companies that live under one roof, and we share everything from trucks to gear. That's another show, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But that side of my production life is another big piece of this. But in the scheme of things, it's like everything you've ever been told. Set goals, act accordingly. Don't do other things that distract you from your goals. I'm just at a place in my career. I'm an empty nester. I've got a well-oiled machine, and I'm able to take advantage of some of these opportunities because I've put a lot of the right stuff in motion.
Yeah. What about you, A-Rock?
So I've been solo forever. Tried doing multiple DJs. It just don't work. I don't know why, but anyway,
It's because you're in
it's a whole
Athens,
nother
Ohio.
story. Right, that you're right. But for me, I do a lot of planning. So Carnival, when I started, they already knew. So I had a retail business for 18 years. So I had a retail storefront. So I had staff running my business. I had a team there. So when this opportunity came up, I was able to leave because I had the right people in place for me to take this opportunity. So when I was leaving for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months at a time. The longest I'd done was 4 months. And that was like when I first started. But so with me, I got a lot of automated emails. So I leave, I have a vacation away email. And then I send emails to all my clients I have for the upcoming year, because I usually leave in the fall. So I tell people, hey, I'm about to go on the ship. I'm gonna be gone for X amount of days, but I will get back to you as soon as I get service. Like Howard said, you don't have the access of having your phone ready to go with, text messages and emails and Facebook and everything else. You just don't have that unless you want to spend the money for it. So for me, I plan out. I plan my contracts out way in advance. I would like to do more, but it's hard for me to go out for 5 days at a time. Carnival, they want you on board for at least 30 days at a time.
Yeah.
Just because it's just, it makes it simple for them.
Mm-hmm.
The logistic nightmare is not there, and say, moving you, every 7 days. And now I have done stuff. I have emergencies came up on the ship, and I flew to a port, joined the ship for a week, and then flew back home. And they have done that for certain situations. It's a big company. We had a DJ, had a family emergency, had to be off the ship. Then the DJ said, hey man, can you go join the ship? When? Tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, I got my bag ready to go. I literally seriously keep a bag in my closet just for Carnival. It has my stuff in it, has all my documentations ready to go. the go bag. But I don't want to hold up the time. I know y'all got your time limit and everything, but I want to at least throw this out there for people who is really interested in working on the ship. A couple things you need to have: a valid passport, all right, a press kit, a resume, and one thing they don't tell you, which I will tell you right now, is your health check, your wellness. We got to do a wellness check every 2 years. You got to be certified seafarer to work on the ship, right? So every 2 years you got to be ready to go. For me, it's great because it makes me go to the doctor and get a full workup to make sure my cholesterol and everything else is good. But you got to have that. You cannot get on the ship without those documentations. I don't care if you're supposed to sign on that day. If you don't have your medical and your passport, they would say you're staying home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All of this is not news to you guys, right? You're doing adult things. With adult responsibilities, you got to move accordingly.
Like me,
and it's all about pre-planning.
I would have never thought about 99% of the shit you guys have said so far. Honestly, it's a world I don't deal with.
It's a niche within a niche within a niche.
It kind of.
If you think about it,
it's just different. You know how strip club DJing is its own ball game. DJing weddings is its own ball game.
More, Eric.
Just
Tell
the
us
term.
more.
Well, I DJed strip clubs for the first.
For real?
Yeah, he was a strip club DJ.
Well, I did it for maybe a year and some change when I was saving up money trying to buy a bunch of gear.
That's my retirement job. That's my retirement job, right?
It was miserable. It was so miserable. But it's its own thing.
I want to come home with glitter on my gear every night.
Just go do proms, dude. It's the same thing. Glitter all over the shit.
But I'm just saying, like, the term DJ, it's just so vague. It depends on where you're doing it. Each thing is its own ballgame, and this is just a bunch of shit that I just never would have thought of. I guarantee you we could have these conversations with strip club DJs, and it would be shit that people have never thought of if they've never been in this scenario.
I would be sitting here like,
Alex is in the group, and I tell you, Alex has ran one of the largest multi-ops. So Alex Dina is in the group. And we talk, you guys have talked about running a multi-op. Well, Alex was the guy who was programming, 60 to 100 computers at a time, sending us all equipment to the ship. So if we had a piece of equipment go down, I'm on the ship emailing saying, Alex, our laptop went down or our controller, can you get it to us? Well, I'm going to fly it in to Texas, and then they're going to onboard it on the ship and then pick it up here. So he was literally shipping stuff. Or if we really need it, meet another ship in Cozumel, Mexico, and the DJ is going to meet you out on the port with the laptop or the piece of gear that you need.
Yeah. Well, so, the head of a multi-op, it's a logistics
that thinks this
job.
Is cush, come on. This is a legit experience.
Right.
And it's very rewarding, but you can't go into this going, this is how I'm going to retire. This is going to build me wealth.
No.
You're getting relationships and you're getting
network.
And it's really fun. I mean, it feeds me. I came back tired, but I came back. I remember why I love the performance side of what I do.
I don't book no gigs for a month, usually after I get off the ship. I usually
You just
like
sleep,
I book the bare
play
minimum.
Call of Duty, fuck everything. I hear that.
I kind of
I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, that's right.
I've been trying to think of like an analogy for like what you guys do in the DJ industry or something else. So I was thinking it's kind of like if you were a climber, it's like climbing Mount Everest.
Here we go.
It's tackling
Keep
one of the
going.
hardest things that some people really just would never really care to ever try.
Well, no, you know,
But
the
it's
thing
a
is,
super rewarding thing to get to the summit of Mount Everest and know you were one of the few that have ever tackled it and accomplished that crazy of a thing.
and that's true too. You know, like I see the guys who's DJing basketball games. I'm like, man, that would be a hard job. Like, I see these guys. I'm like, would I ever want to DJ a basketball game?
I know you have to sit through the entire basketball game. That would
Now,
be
ask
so
anybody
terrible.
that does it if they do it for the money. Ask anybody if they do it if it's hard or they can't stand it. The opposite.
Right.
They get to meet the players. They get
Yep.
to live on the court. They get to meet everybody behind the scenes.
Yep.
It's its own network. And I don't know a guy in that field that would say no. I hate it.
No, right. Yep.
No, it
And that-
doesn't. It doesn't pay enough. I'm out.
It takes
and
a
that's the
basketball
same thing
fan.
with the cruise ship stuff. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You know, you talk to most DJs that worked on a cruise ship, man. Most people, only thing they're gonna tell you is the hours, but the overall experience is always, 100%. People say, man, we're working 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. But I tell people, like, what else I'm gonna be doing? I mean, it's like it ain't like I can get off and go down the street and do something. I'm literally on the ship, unless I'm at a port or something.
Exactly. Cool, guys. Well, kind of like what A-Rock said there, we're getting towards the end of the show. So any questions in the chat? I didn't really see many pop up. We've already talked about vaccines. Vaccines are required on the cruise ships. Pretty
Yes.
self-explanatory for a company that large.
Booster shots.
All that got to be fully vaccinated.
I'm prepared to to pay it forward. If someone wanted to DM me and say, "Can I get some more insights or answer anything very specific?" I'm an open book. I'm public.
How would they find you guys on
Yeah.
social media?
What's
Howard, you go first, and then A-Rock. Drop your social.
If you're in,
medias.
if you guys have access to the
easiest-
chat, just
the
drop it.
easiest is
there, too.
Facebook for me, and you can DM me there. It's just Howard Wallach, Wallach. I've been in the conference world for the last 8 years. I take a lot of pride in mentoring and coaching. I don't do it for cash. I'm not selling anything. I don't have a book, a CD, a DVD. I really am.
I can't buy your course for $99 with
No, I got none
an
of
extra.
that. I'm literally just a guy out
Hit
there.
me up. I'll sell you
I've been
something.
blessed, and I'm just at a time in my career where it makes sense for me.
Appreciate that. It's awesome.
I'm in the same boat with Howard. I don't mind sharing the knowledge. I don't mind talking to people. But if you go to my website or if you go to my YouTube channel, most of the videos on my YouTube channel is about did I lose you guys?
No, we're still here.
No, we're here.
Okay, there we
There's
go.
like
I
a
lost-
fan
there was some
going or
sound there.
something. I hear
Somebody's,
you. I don't know.
So anyway, I heard a fan in the background. But anyway, so if you go to my YouTube channel, there's a ton of videos on me on the cruise ship talking about how to work on the cruise ship, my day-to-day life on the ship, different events on the ship. During the pandemic, I did a lot of these Zoom calls like this, but with crew members. So it's probably 6 or 7 Zoom interviews of me talking to crew members about being musicians, comedians, cruise directors, DJs, host DJs, and techs on the ship. All those jobs are there. It's a floating city, so all those jobs are there. So if you want to find out more about it, it's a lot of videos on my YouTube channel focused on that. And then of course just hit me up. So
What's your YouTube channel?
just go to A-Rock Entertainment. Everything is just A-Rock Entertainment.
Cool.
Yeah, A-Rock with no K on the end. So
No K.
AROC.
I do want to say one caveat
A-Rock
if
with
this
an
isn't
A.
obvious. These are our own expressed opinions. This isn't going to be everybody's story. I can only, A-Rock, myself, we can only tell you what's worked for us and how happy we are in that niche.
Mm-hmm.
So I if this was a discourse and people were having different ideas and opinions, I'm open to it. I'm not, it's
Right.
not a debate. It's
Right.
this is what has been my experience.
Yeah. And I tell folks, if especially I talk to a lot of students here. Rick, I talk to the Brick Life guys
Absolutely.
and young DJs here in college. And I tell them, I said, what you guys gonna do after school? I don't know. I said, why don't you go work on the ship? I ain't working on the ship. What you gonna do? Go stay at your mom in her basement?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm waiting to this job, man.
Yeah,
Go get on the
bitch.
ship, make some money, meet some people, meet some new friends. Don't come home.
I would like to do it. Honestly, I would like to try it. I can't because babies and shit. But
Business.
yeah.
Well, you know what? Look, I don't want to tell you, but most of the people on the ship have families. So a lot of the crew members, non-US, they're sending 80% of their checks home, take care of their entire family. So you have people taking care of their wife, their kids, their grandmas, their uncles. A lot of people come from small families, small villages rather, and they check maybe taking care of half the village. Yeah. So that's why a lot of the crew members when the pandemic happened. Yeah, when the pandemic happened, man, it was we sitting here worried about when that $600 check coming out, and there's people at home like, man,
they were devastated.
Got paid. Yeah, especially the islands, right? So a lot of folks on board got families, man.
You got zero expenses on board, right? Literally, you have zero expenses.
Internet. You gonna pay for internet, some coffee, and beer.
I was gifted internet as part of my arrangements, but it's
right.
That's
like
crazy though.
Or dial-up, so don't worry.
Yeah.
Basically, you're like on business travel 24/7 when you're out there. It's all your expenses are paid for, which is extremely cool.
Basically.
That's an extremely cool thing in itself. But
you got 24-hour pizza,
workout room,
burgers,
24
sauna.
Yeah. You got a gym. You got 2 gyms on board. Burritos, hamburgers. Like my last contract had Shaq's Big Chicken on board.
What?
So Shaq.
I love Shaq.
Oh yeah,
so
Shaq's
Shaq
like heavily invested in Carnival, isn't he?
And
I remember.
So he was on the ship I was on. He was on the ship I was on, and they opened up a second Big Chicken on the ship. So it was just like, man, it was delicious.
He following you on Instagram now?
Man, look, it's a picture. It's a picture of me, Shaq, his mom, and the CEO of Carnival Corp and the CEO of Carnival Cruise Line.
Wait, I got a picture with Erik and Shaq's mom. What the?
Hey.
Anyways, guys, great having you guys on the show. Like Erik said, you guys are spitting out a lot of stuff that's just like brand new to like us. So I'm assuming it's like brand new to everyone in the chat. Maybe not Alex, obviously, but
not Alex.
Alex knows all this shit. But anyways,
yeah.
Super helpful. This is a lot of great information. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to join in on the podcast. We've already dropped kind of all you guys' links. If you guys go follow them, hit them up. If you guys want to learn more about the cruise ships and everything, hit them up. They definitely can get you in touch with the right people to join into the cruise line and get out there and test your skills.
They are hiring.
Like everyone else. Everyone's hiring.
But they're really hiring
right
now.
I bet. It's hard to get them back. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. In 2 weeks on the 19th, we will have DJ Mojo on talking about sales without being too pushy.
Ooh, that's Mojo. And I'm going to correct him and be like, you got to be pushy.
see, but he's a high-end solo op, so it's a whole different concept.
Joking.
He is super high-end.
Super high-end. That's Beverly Hills.
Bougie. Let's just go with bougie.
I'm in a barn.
Right.
No shit. Have it all, baby. Anyways, guys, appreciate you guys all for tuning in. Subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, everyone. Peace.